Today on the webinar, we're going to go cover some free marketing tips, marketing techniques, and we have a special guest as well, Billy. Billy is actually one of our clients. We do some of his marketing, and he also is he's a veteran in the hospitality restaurant space. He also has a staffing company that he's going to be sharing some tips, some free techniques around how to get more staff, how to acquire more staff without acting desperate, just having good systems in place to get really good team members to join. So again, Billy is a very experienced, successful entrepreneur. I would definitely recommend taking some of his advice to heart. Billy, we're really excited to have you today. If you could just give yourself a quick introduction, hopefully I nailed that. Give yourself a quick introduction, and then we'll take it away.
Yeah, Luke, I think you kind of stole it from me. I've been in the industry for about 20 years now, more or less hiring successfully and building a culture and team around me. And from doing that, I decided to go into the software space and find some or build some recruiting tools to help people like myself. So I think you got the rest of it, but yeah, I'm excited to be here and just kind of share with you guys.
Perfect. Awesome, Billy. Well, the pleasure is definitely mine. Guys, you can't see Billy on video yet, but we'll get him on video after he takes over his part of the webinar here. I'm going to take this for about 15 minutes. We're going to talk about some marketing tips. Then Billy's going to take the mic and talk about staffing and hiring, and give you some tips there. So for the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to show you all the techniques. Well, not all the techniques, a lot of the techniques that we use for all of our restaurants worldwide. We currently work with about 1,000 restaurants in about 25, 30 countries. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, Mexico, US, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Sydney, Australia, wherever you are, these techniques should work pretty well for you. So for the next 15 minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a lot of the techniques that we use for our restaurants. And you can take this up as free advice. You can take it and implement this stuff yourself. I'll show you some targeting options. I'll show you some softwares to use. I'm going to tell you basically like how to do this stuff. And if you have some time, if you have some expertise, go ahead and copycat it. Would love for you guys to copycat that. Towards the end of the call, I will also give you a link to schedule a one-on-one call with us if you want our help. We do also offer a done-for-you service where we can do all this work for you. So if you're like, hey, Luke, I can do this up myself, perfect, go ahead and do it. If you want to schedule a call with us where we can figure out if there's a fit, if we can help you guys do this stuff and kind of become like your marketing team, I'll send you a link to that as well. So a couple options for you at the end of the call. Do it yourself, have a call with us. Let's just go ahead and dive right in. So first things first, guys, I want to go ahead in the chat. Everyone can go ahead and chat with me in the box right now. And then towards the end of the webinar, we're going to have some time for Q&A where you can actually talk live with Billy and I. So for the time being, it's going to be chat. Then we'll do Q&A towards the end. So if you have any questions, of course, you can hold those to the end. But my first question, guys, I just want to make sure I'm giving you some relevant advice, relevant recommendations. Can everybody just please go in the chat and let me know, what are you looking for help with right now? Like, what is your objective? Are you looking for more sales just in general, or is there something specific? Do you guys need more sales during lunch? Do you need more sales during the weekdays? Do you need more catering? Do you want more online orders? If there's something specific, please let me know, and I can tailor my conversation for you. Perfect. I got some answers coming in here, guys, just saying more sales in general, to simplify my marketing and build my business, marketing on the weekend, sales on the weekend, boosting sales during quieter days. Okay, perfect. Yeah, we'll cover some of those topics. And guys, right now, are you spending any money on advertising currently? Just go ahead in the chat. Let me know, guys. Take like the next 6 seconds. Let me know. Are you currently spending any money on advertising right now? Are you currently spending any money on advertising at the current given time? Perfect. Hayward Golf Club, Zach Nareen. It looks like, I'm not sure if that's just coincidence, but I grew up with a buddy named Zach Nareen, so maybe that's you as well. What's going on, Zach, if that's you? Cool. So very little on social media marketing, people spending a lot of time and money on marketing. So there's lots of different answers coming in here, guys. My main question here around your marketing, your advertising right now is, can you track it? If you're spending money on advertising right now, can you track it? And when I say track, I don't mean likes and clicks and shares. I mean sales. Can you measure the sales that are coming in from your ads? Guys, take the next like 3 or 4 seconds. Just let me know, quick yes or no. Can you track the sales that are coming in from your ads? Okay, most people are saying no, some saying yes, but Tom is clueless. Tom, today you will not be clueless. All right, guys, the next question is around contacts. Do you have 10,000 contacts? Do you have 10,000 contacts of people that you're sending direct messages to, right? Not followers here, guys. We're not talking about followers. We're talking about real contacts, people you're emailing weekly, people you're sending text messages to weekly, people you're sending mass personalized direct Facebook Messenger messages to weekly. Okay. If you don't have 10,000 contacts, I'll give you some tips and some recommendations on how to get there. So first things first, let me go ahead and actually share my screen. Let me go ahead and share my screen real fast. All right, guys. Again, these are some tips and some recommendations I'm going to give you. This is the same exact stuff we do for all of our clients. So I can't cover all the topics with you today, but I'm going to cover really a lot of the important ones. So the first thing I would recommend doing, if you're looking to get more customers in, the first thing you want to focus on is your acquisition. How do we get more people aware you're there? And how do we get more people in? So one of the first things I would recommend doing is running an ad on Facebook and Instagram. Okay. That is some sort of a special offer, some sort of like a call to action, right? So, because you're competing with so many people these days, politics, sports, celebrities, right? So how do we make people care about your food over Kim Kardashian, right? So I would recommend running some sort of special offer. It could be a complimentary dessert, could be a free appetizer, right? Some sort of thing some sort of hook, something that gets their attention, right? And so you can run an ad like this and geo-target it in your area. Right, guys, this is not a boost, right? This is not a boost. This is a real geo-targeted ad. And the benefit of doing something like this, guys, the benefit of doing a special offer is that you can track it. You can track how many people are coming in and what they're spending. When you're doing any marketing or any acquisition at all, the most important thing is measuring your conversions. Otherwise, you don't know how to make decisions, right? So we have to measure conversions. And keep in mind, guys, when you do these targeted ads, when you do these special offers, people are not going to be visiting you because they want to save money. It's not about saving money. It's not about a discount. This is about getting their attention and tracking it. So think about it like a welcome gift, right? The biggest brands in the world do this. Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, Darden restaurants, they all do this type of offer, right? So again, this is how you can do that. And again, this is not a boost. So if you're boosting posts on Facebook and Instagram, just to be very honest and frank with you, I would recommend stop doing that yesterday, right? Boosting posts is not a real advertising technique. You want to use Facebook Ads Manager or Business Manager. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat right now so you guys can see that. So Facebook Ads Manager or Business Manager. Okay. And the targeting options, let me give you some targeting tips real fast. If you're in a large city, you might want to target a 1 to 3 mile radius. Okay. If you're in a small city under, let's say 100,000 people, under 100,000 people in your city, you can target a much larger radius, target 10 to 15 miles. Okay. Don't worry too much about targeting, right? You can get really, really technical or detailed with targeting. You can target people who are ages, females ages 35 to 55, who like burgers, cats, and computers, right? Don't get that crazy with your targeting. A lot of times it doesn't really make a difference. So I would recommend with your targeting, start simple, right? We've got a saying around here that goes, don't launch a warship, right? Don't launch a warship, launch a canoe, right? Launch a canoe, get something out there that's working, then you can always refine it, okay? So anyway, that's what I'd recommend doing in terms of your ads here. Spend money on these geo-targeted ads. And when you're running your photo, right? When you're running your photo like this, you can simply just have a photo that says complimentary dessert, free appetizer, right? but make sure your photo that you have here is like has that wow factor. Okay. You want your photo to, when you look at it, you're just like, wow, this thing looks freaking good, right? If you don't think that when you're looking at your photos, neither do your prospects. Okay. So you have to think that, and your photo has to be great. Okay. I'm actually going to go ahead in the chat real fast here and give you our free, we got a free restaurant photography guide. It's a pretty simple guide, but it gives you some good tips. Let me go ahead and put that in the chat right now, so you guys can go ahead and take a look at that photography guide there down in the chat. Anyway, recommend running an ad like this. Make sure your food covers up most of the photo, right? Make sure your food covers up most of the photo. You want your food covering up 80 to 90% of the photo. Don't have any blank space. Don't have any, too much plate, too much table. You want your photo to cover up most of this square image here on the ads. Okay. So I can go into a lot of details with this stuff, guys. I'll give you links to schedule one-on-one calls with us. But again, keep sticking around. I'm going to show you way more. So in short, this would be the first type of ad I'd recommend running. It's a geo-targeted ad with a special offer. Best part about it is you can track it. So a lot of our customers have people coming in within a week. We just launched with the restaurant yesterday and they had 3 customers in the first day. We just launched with the restaurant about a month ago and they had 181 customers in the first month. So the nice thing with doing offers and calls to action is that you get pretty good results right away. If for some reason that image is not working, you do a new image, right? You can test things and try things pretty quickly. As I'm speeding along here pretty fast because I want to cover a lot of topics with you. So keep up. Appreciate you being with me. The next topic I'd recommend doing is very similar, but running a birthday ad. Okay. If you want to get larger groups in there, people who spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 at once, run birthday ads. These are some types of ads that we run for our clients. And the only setting that's different when you're doing your Facebook targeting, let me put this in the chat so you have it. You want to do an interest targeting. Okay. And you want to type in upcoming birthdays. So this ad will only show to people in your city who've got birthdays coming up within the next week. So you could have this bad boy running indefinitely all the time. You could spend like $2 or $3 a day on this advertising. So it's really cheap and you can get in front of a lot of good people who are looking to spend money, having birthday parties, stuff like that. So we just launched with the restaurant a couple months ago in Arizona, and they had they're running these types of ads, like some sort of free cheesy bread offer or something for people's birthdays. And they had a group of like 30 people come on in, get a bunch of drinks, bunch of food. They spent like, I think $7K or something like that. So anyway, we definitely recommend running advertisements like that to get people in on their birthdays. Again, special offer, target people for their birthdays. I put the interest targeting down there in chat, guys, if you want to check it out. That's what you type in. Okay. So this is one part, right? This is the part of acquisition. There's a lot more stuff you could do to acquire customers. This is going to be one of the fastest, easiest, quickest things you can do to get some fast results. So that's number one. This is phase one. The second thing I'd recommend doing is running direct messages, sending direct messages, guys. With any business, you've got your acquisition and then you have your retention, right? Increasing the lifetime value, right? So if people come in, they spend, you can just do some simple math in your head right now. I want you to think about this. How often do your regular customers visit you? Twice a month, 4 times a month, 8 times a month, whatever it is, right? And then what is your average ticket? Is it $30? Is it $20? Is it $60? And then multiply that times 12 for the year. So just roughly speaking, if you get regular customers to visit you twice a month and spend $45 per visit, that one regular customer will spend about $1,000 per year, right? I looked at my girlfriend's Starbucks app over the past year. She spent $2,000 at Starbucks in 2022, $2,000, right? And those are $7 coffees. So keep in mind, that's what we're after here, right? You do an ad to get people's attention to get them in, and then you do direct messaging to remind them to visit more, right? So there's lots of ways to collect contacts, but when people click on this ad, boom, they click on this ad to get that special offer, they have to enter their information to continue. they have to enter their information to continue and get that special offer. So they have to enter their email address. They have to enter their phone number, right? You'll have them on Facebook Messenger or Instagram DM. And so simultaneously, while you're getting customers to come in with the sales, right, to increase sales, you now can actually remind them to visit you. So if they don't visit you, well, we send them a message around your new menu items or Valentine's Day or selling gift cards during Christmas. All these things throughout the calendar year. I would recommend, if you don't have 10,000 contacts right now, getting to 10,000 contacts should be one of your main goals to get to in 2023. You want to get about 1,000 new contacts every single month, because, not to bore you with too many examples, but because if you have a large database of contacts, you can sell to them, right? These are not followers. These are not Facebook followers. These are not Instagram followers. These are way different. Having direct contacts, it can help you upsell things and remind people directly. So for example, one of our restaurants in St. Louis, Missouri has about 35,000 contacts. And every year during Christmas time, we send out a message selling gift cards, and boom, instantly they'll sell about 14 grand worth of gift cards from just one message. So I, of course, can't guarantee those exact results for you. They could be a lot higher, they could be lower, but it's the overall concept that matters, right? Having a contact database of thousands of people, that's where your money's made, because you own this, not big tech. Okay. So there's lots of ways to gather contacts. One of the fastest ways is through ads. So I'm going to go ahead and actually give you some recommendations for the ad software and the messaging software right now. So for Facebook Messenger, I would recommend a company called ManyChat. I'm going to put this down here in the chat, guys. ManyChat for Facebook Messenger. For email, you can use any email program. We recommend ActiveCampaign or MailChimp. ActiveCampaign or MailChimp. And then for texting, if you're in the US or Canada, I recommend a company called SlickText. And if you're outside the US or Canada, and if you're in other countries, I would recommend a company called ClickSend. So I just put in the chat all those recommendations for the softwares. Those are some softwares we use for all of our clients. Okay, so guys, I know I'm breezing through this pretty fast because I want to give Billy some time as well to talk about staffing. But these are a couple things that you can do at your restaurant today or tomorrow to get more customers in. Now, just to recap this, right? Running ads for acquisition, right? Running ads for acquisition that you can track and measure, and also doing direct messaging to bring them back in. I've got one more recommendation for you guys before I hand it over the mic to Billy, but I want to check in with you all real fast. Guys, is this helpful so far? Are you following me? Is this helpful? Barry, Zach, David, Emma, Bree, Clifford, Aaron, Jackie, Jamel, Jess, Robert, Shannon, Tanya, Tim, Tom, Victoria, Sarah. Guys, is this helpful? Give me a quick thumbs up if you love it. Give me a thumbs down if you hate it. Just wanted to check in with you. One of our clients, it's a 37 location franchisor. They sell acai bowls. Their first campaign, they had over 3,000 new customers in the first 30 days. And one thing that Peter here, Peter talks about a lot about having that contact database. He talks about the ability to quote unquote blow in their ear, right? Kind of a funny visual, but having the ability to blow in people's ears and remind them, hey, we have a new menu item. Hey, we're doing this. Hey, we're doing that, right? It's not about annoying people or spamming them. It's about building a relationship with them, right? Building a relationship, communicating with your customers about things you got going on. So highly recommend doing something like that. Number one, special offers you can track and measure on your point of sale, and then get people's information in the process. Send people direct messages to remind them to visit you, okay? One more tip before I hand it off to Billy. Another way you guys can grow your contact database is through QR codes, okay? So through QR codes, you can also use the same software I just told you about, ManyChat. You could have a QR code inside your business saying anything, right? Think about this. If you've got a 4-top that visits you, or you've got 3 people visiting you, are you collecting the information from all those 3 or 4 people? Probably not, right? Maybe you're getting 1 of them or 2 of them. But having a QR code on like an A-frame sign or on a poster somewhere inside your business can get all those people to scan and become a part of your database. So If you're only capturing 1 of 4 people who visit you, huge opportunity to use QR codes to grow that contact list faster, right? These are already people who are visiting you, and to get them to come back, what do you know? Send them a reminder, right? Get them to come back by sending them a direct message reminder. So you could have a QR code on here saying, scan here to get a complimentary dessert on your next visit. You could say, scan here to enter to win a trip to Vegas, right? Scan here to enter to win a $500 gift card. And then maybe you raffle off a $500 gift card once a quarter or every 6 months, right? The cost for you guys do not have to be big for this, but you can get so many leads, so many contacts from just simple QR codes inside the business with something special. One tip I'd have here is make sure this poster or this A-frame sign, whatever it is, it needs to be somewhere easy. If people need to go out of their way to scan this, they probably won't do it. Okay, so they probably won't do it. Make it somewhere easy, put it where people don't have to move very far, put it on the tables, put it in the entryway, something like that. Okay. So guys, I've covered just a handful of tips with you so far today. There's a lot more. If you wanted to implement this stuff yourself, please do it. I gave you some targeting options. I gave you some software recommendations. Maybe you can do this stuff yourself already with the recommendations I gave you. I will put in the chat right now a link to schedule a one-on-one call with us. If you want to schedule a one-on-one call with our team, we have a full staff of like 35 people. You can just go onto our website and you can check out our documentary. We've got like a 30-minute documentary infomercial type thing. And then you can just go ahead and book a call. Choose your time zone. Choose how many locations you have. And then you can schedule a call even for today. We've got some availability later on today with our team. So I'm going to put a link in the chat right now, guys. You can go ahead and put a link in the chat. Sarah's asking, how do we get her ads on the top of Google? Sarah, we do TikTok, we do Google as well. So anything you need help with, I would recommend just going in the chat box right now, click that link to schedule a call. And we'd be happy to help you. The no obligation, no pressure call. We just learn about your business a bit. We see if we can help. We give you some recommendations, and it's a very custom call. So guys, you can go ahead in that chat box right now to schedule a call. I'll give you guys like the next 30 seconds to do that. Then we'll hand the baton over to Billy. So guys, go ahead and click the link I just sent you in the chat. I will send you all that link as well via text. Just give me one moment to do that. Alrighty, guys, I just sent you all a chat, a text message on scheduling a one-on-one call if you want to talk a bit further. Looks like a few people had scheduled that call there already. Guys, we're excited to chat with you. But I wanted to give you some recommendations. I want to give you some tips. I'm going pretty quickly through this because I want to make sure that you guys are getting a lot of value on the other side of this as well, right? We talk about marketing, talk about advertising, talk about getting customers. But now it's time to talk about staffing and your team, right? So I'm going to go ahead and pass the baton over to Billy. And Billy is going to go ahead and give you some tips, some recommendations, same sort of structure. You guys can chat with Billy throughout this call. And then towards the end, we'll open it up for Q&A for both of us as well. So Billy, you are now the host. And you can go ahead and share your screen and turn on your video. Let me know if you got any difficulties doing that.
Cool. Looks like video is working. Can you see me?
Sure can.
Beautiful. And I'm going to share my screen. All right.
Perfect.
So good.
Good to rock and roll, my friend.
Technology actually works.
It's working. Yep.
Okay. That doesn't happen every day. All right, guys. So my name is Billy Giordano, and I want to talk to you guys about hiring. So real quick, I guess we'll just kind of start with who I am, and I need to get Zoom out of my way so I can do this for you. So I've been in the restaurant business for a little bit over 20 years. I own my own spot for 15 now. Long story short, it's something I have a lot of passion for and kind of evolved into leading and training and building teams and teaching my employees exactly how I want them to operate my business, which is really the whole goal. So in doing so, I feel like I've created an opportunity to really learn how to build culture around my operation, my business model, and instill that in my team so it's represented with every interaction at the service level. From that, I developed Staffed Up about 7 years ago, just kind of an entrepreneurial spirit, and decided to take a stab at something I'd never done before. I can't say it's been the easiest thing to learn a new complete technology industry, but what's been nice is that I've been able to take everything I know as a hiring professional and turn it into usable tools that are very relatable and functional for people like myself. And that's our whole goal. We just want to help restaurateurs and people in high turnover hiring just hire better. So from that, I'd like to really just kind of talk to you guys about desperation hiring and how we can eliminate that. I think it's a concept that is really prevalent in our industry. And I think it's important to recognize the difference between recruiting and hiring actively and engaging with talent versus kind of doing that desperation hire. Oh no, I need somebody today. What am I going to do? So before we get into that, just real quick, and I can't see the chat, so I'm going to pull that up. How many people right now would say they are actively struggling in recruiting and hiring and finding the right people to operate their team? Just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you are. Even if you feel like there's room for improvement, shoot me a thumbs up so I kind of know who I'm talking to and can see that there are people that might need these tips to operate a little bit better. All right, looks like we've got Luke, Dragon, Jess, Hayward Golf Club is active today. Clifford, all right. So it sounds like everyone is on the same page. So if you can see my screen still, the idea here is I've got 5 kind of key things that you can focus on, and I'm going to teach you how to do them on your own. With Staffed Up, we've built tools that kind of does a lot of this for you, but it's very simple from a mindset perspective, just to implement this kind of hiring dynamic and make sure you're using your resources to your full advantage to be competitive. So desperation hiring, to eliminate that, we've got communicating your culture, leveraging marketing, creating an evergreen recruiting strategy, competitive engagement, and automating your systems. So by combining these 5 things, and we'll go through each individually, it really creates a holistic approach to a recruiting process. So talking about your culture, setting your business apart from the overwhelming job posting culture and making sure applicants understand why they should want to work for you. So from your job information on your job postings to your website to your general branding, you really want to try to communicate what's going to be attractive or what's going to attract the person that you think is a good fit for you. So if you've ever had an all-star employee and you think, all right, if I could only have 10 more of this individual, think about who that person is and try to write your job listings and even your general marketing in general to attract that type of energy that is going to help you find the people that will resonate with what you're selling. So whether you're a restaurant or you're in retail or you're a gym, obviously you write your marketing to attract the person that you want to come and spend money with you. Same thing with your hiring marketing. You really need to communicate your culture and resonate with the person to tell them what might be important to them and think about what's important to them in a career or a job, the path that they're choosing, as well as just what is going to be, excuse me, what's going to be, valuable to you in the type of personality that you hire and whether or not they fit into your team and your actual culture. Another good thing to think about when communicating your culture is your interview strategy, making sure you have a templated strategy and you're asking questions that really are pertinent to not only the position, but talking about your team, the energy, and what you expect when you're delivering your services to your customers, right? So they should be able to feel your passion through your job posting and through your interviews to understand who they're working for and why they want to be a part of it. Okay, so thinking about marketing, just like what Luke has been talking about this entire time. So Luke and I met because his marketing got me as a restaurant client. And then in seeing what he was doing, I realized, hey, there's some synergy here. And what we do is try to leverage every single angle you possibly can to promote your jobs everywhere your brand lives. So your website, your social media, in store with QR codes, job boards externally like Google Jobs, Glassdoor, newsletters, email newsletters, social blasts, pretty much anywhere that you live as a company, you should have some representation of your recruiting strategy. Doesn't have to be front and center, obviously business first, but you need to make it easy and accessible for your applicants to submit applications as quickly as possible. So from a marketing standpoint, just like your brand, you want to sell pretty much everywhere you possibly can. So question for everyone, out of, website, hiring on your website, social media, QR code in store, or external job boards and social pushes with emailed newsletters. Let's say there's 5 angles here. Out of 5, if you could just drop in a 2 of 5, a 4 of 5, I'm a 5 out of 5 marketing expert with my recruiting, drop that in the chat for me. And then if there's one that you think is the best one for you, feel free to drop that in there too. For me, I think the website is one of the biggest ones that represents my brand and gets me a lot of traffic, but I also find a lot of value in my actual customer base that comes through and appreciates my brand. So they support me, they spend money with me, they may want to work for me, and I actually do drive a lot of really high quality applicant traffic from my customers in the restaurant.
Billy, across the board, quick question for you. Across the board in general, what channel do you think, or do you see from your end, what channel is most often overlooked that actually gets some pretty nice results? Is it the QR codes? Is it the in-store job boards? Like what thing are people most likely overlooking?
Yeah, so paid marketing and job boards can get a little bit cluttered, right? So when we're out in job boards, there's so many different opportunities that it's really hard to sift through the mess. So by leveraging your actual brand and attracting people that are already paying attention to what you do, you're actually going to get a little bit more high quality applicant and potential new hire, because they're motivated about what you're doing. They already kind of understand what the opportunity is. So if you were to interview someone who's never seen your restaurant before versus someone who has, and that's a question in my interviews, are you familiar with what we do, who we are? Have you been a patron in this establishment? Typically, we're going to get a better hire out of someone who wants to work here because they love it here versus someone who just wants a job. So leveraging your brand to attract quality talent has been where I see the most success. Now, volume is one thing. You can push out the job boards and get 200 applications. That's completely fine. But you're going to sift through a lot of low quality applications, and you're better off really leveraging, again, your own personal brand, your angle, and the people who are paying attention to you. If you're in a town with high school students and you need summer hires, pushing out to your newsletter, those high school students don't see that, but their parents absolutely do, right? So leveraging those angles and making sure it's just accessible everywhere is really the key. Okay, moving on to the next thing. So 24/7, 365 recruiting. The concept here is that you really always want to be recruiting. This evergreen recruiting concept helps you eliminate desperation hiring by building a dedicated talent pool, a database of applicants that are interested. But maybe if you're not hiring today, you still are more or less accruing your list, just like Luke is talking about with his marketing, right? They might not be ready to buy today, but because you've engaged with them, when they are ready, you're pushing out information and you're letting them know where they stand. So for me, and I'll just tell you a quick story, I have all of my application and positions set to accepting applications at all time. If I'm pushing them out and I want them to be now hiring, I change that status, but I'm always recruiting, always accepting apps. And then in my system, when they come through, I'm using, some pre-qualifying questions, but I just save them for later, and they get a message from my company saying, we're not hiring today, but when we're going to save you for future opportunities, and we'll be sure to reach out. So the story goes, about 3 weeks ago, I had some employees that just really weren't cutting it. And we decided as a management team, we were going to make some cuts. So on Monday, our Monday stand up, we decided we're firing 3 people at 3 p.m. on Monday. I use my system I send out 55 or 56 interview invites for the next day, starting at 10 a.m. to noon. And I just say, hey, we're hiring. These are the positions. This is why we're hiring and what we're hiring for. If you're interested, please check my calendar and sign up. So for me, and again, we'll talk about different systems you can use. What I did with my ATS is I just sent it out with one click, text and email notifications. I had 11 interviews signed up for 10 to noon that next day in less than 24 hours. I ended up hiring 4 of those candidates before I even fired the 3 that I intended to that later that afternoon. That's not hiring that most people have the ability to do at any given point, but I can hire at will when I want, how I want, and get the right candidates in. So that building of your talent pool in your database is super important, because just because you're not hiring today doesn't mean you might not be. And for anyone in this industry, you know that I could lose a manager or a bartender tomorrow to a death in the family, or maybe they got a promotion, maybe they want to switch careers. You really never know what's going to happen. And it's really just always best to be consistently recruiting, promoting, building that talent pool, and being able to leverage that talent pool when you need it. So moving over to the competitive engagement part of the conversation, this really means engaging with those candidates as they come through to let them know that you're a quality employer, that you respect the fact that they are interested in the job position, and that you might not be hiring today, but you will reach out in the future. The other angle here is that really high quality talent, you might not need them today, but that quality application doesn't come across your desk very often. And when that high quality candidate does, you might make room for them. So for instance, again, we were, accepting applications for a kitchen manager. We didn't quite need them just yet, but a really great application hit our inbox. We reviewed it and said, you know what, we're going to bring this guy in for an interview. Well, we're glad we did, because one, he was one of the best hires we had in 2 years. He had already been interviewed by someone that day because his resume was fantastic and other people are competing for high quality talent. And so we got him in. He'd already been interviewed, but we had a chance to bring him in and talk to him and basically fight to get him in and tell him why he should work for us. And, for lack of better words, we stole him from somebody else, but we needed him more than we knew we did, right? And so it was nice to have the opportunity to be able to review applications quickly and engage quickly to make sure that we're capitalizing on those opportunities before they slip through the cracks. Because if you're getting an application, even if it's manual, if it's an email, if someone calls in and you're not responding within a couple of days, if they're a quality hire, they're already going to get hired somewhere else. If you've waited 3 to 4 weeks and now you're reaching out to your candidates and you've not said a word to them the entire time, most likely they're already gone. They're not respecting the process. And someone else, your neighbor, who is actively competing for talent, has already probably got that hire. So again, making sure you evaluate and engage in real time is going to set you apart and give you an opportunity to capitalize on hiring better talent. Last things, and I would say most importantly, obviously you can combine all this stuff independently through things like email and social media and job boards and Google Forms on your website, or just a landing page with a simple form on your website. All of these things you can put together, but you want to really find a way to automate not only your responses, but your qualifications, and make sure that you're advertising, pre-qualifying and evaluating, and then engaging and onboarding quickly, because again, the attention span online is really, really low. So proper marketing with simple calls to action to get people to submit their applications with you, and then some systems on the back end to ask the right questions to the right people to qualify and evaluate before the interview process, and then engaging with the right people based on those qualifications and having some sort of system in place to get them onboarded quickly. So sending job offers, digital new hire paperwork, things like that, having systems in place that will support your efforts as an employer to get the attraction that you want, to communicate effectively who you are and why they should work for you, and then to get them through that entire hiring life cycle and get them into your system is important, because it saves time, it saves money. And really the idea here is efficiency. You want to not have to focus on building your team, create systems that help you do it, so you're not spending all your time or your money and energy on building these things out manually. So again, to put all of this stuff together is really a summary of how we decrease desperation hiring. And I think first and foremost, the evergreen recruiting is like the fundamental kind of backbone, the centerpiece for all of this. And then using the engagement, marketing through that evergreen recruiting, making sure the culture and your perspective on what's important as an employer is front and center. And then trying to automate all this is a really great way. It's what I've found works for me. It's what we've built with Staffed Up, and that's what we help our customers do quickly and easily, pretty much every day. So for efficiency's sake, again, I know time is valuable to everyone, and Luke's probably got a few things he wants to go through with everybody. My email, billy@staffedup.com. You can find us at staffedup.com. We're not here to sell you what we do, but if you have questions about how we do things, or really even just like copy content, the messages we use to respond to applicants when they submit applications, but maybe we're not hiring, all that stuff is stuff that we're professionals at. We've been doing for a long time. We've got a great team that builds this stuff. And I'm happy to help in any way I possibly can.
Billy, thank you. That was amazing. I wanted to add a little bit of color to a couple points you brought up. I think is just worth even more emphasis. Having the mindset of, like you said, like just evergreen recruiting, and just always be accepting applicants, always be building, you're building a pipeline of potential good team members. And so I think that's just like, I think it's something that a lot of business owners, not just restaurants, but just business owners in general are so busy, and caught in the day-to-day where you don't know if you're going to have a day where 3 of your cooks leave, or 3 of the front of house leave, or whatever. So having that database of prospects, of potential good hires, the same way like you mentioned, the same way we do our marketing, build a database of leads. Some people are ready to buy. Same thing to do with staffing as well, and is having those people at your fingertips. And like you said, maybe they're not ready to be hired now. Maybe you don't need them now, but when you do need them, they're there. So, I think that's just I'm super happy that you shared that. It's just like, it's building comfort, right? You're building yourself more flexibility and more comfort because you've got people whenever you need them. So I love that. I love that a lot. Guys, if you are needing some help with staffing, I would highly recommend reaching out to Billy. Billy's an expert in the space. And so you can send him an email. You can go to his website, schedule a call with them. They do the same thing as us, where it's like a very no pressure, no obligation call where they'll just see if they can help you guys. If anything, you'll get some free tips, some free advice, probably even more in depth than we went through today. So if you're looking for help with staffing, even if you don't need help now, you might need help in the future. So I think it would be worthwhile to get on the call with Billy and his team to see if they could provide some value to you. So anyway, I highly recommend that. Billy, thank you for that information. That was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. And again, if anyone wants a simple hiring review to look at questions you're asking, how you've got it implemented on your website. I just went through with a client today and basically showed him, hey, you're already using our tools, but the way it's laid out on your site is really not going to convert like it should. So simple things like that you may not be thinking of. It's what we do every day, and we're happy to just shed some light on it, see if we can't help.
I love that. Cool. Guys, at this point in time, let's go ahead and open it up for some Q&A. So everybody who's still on the call, and if you want to ask your questions, now's your time. So you guys can go in the chat box down below. You can type your questions in there, or there's a little raise hand icon in here in Zoom. You can click on the raise hand icon. We can unmute you, and we can talk here like humans. So if you have questions, now's your time. Go in the chat box. If you can't figure out or can't find your raise hand icon, just go in the chat box and let us know that you want to talk as well, and we can go ahead and unmute you that way. So guys, any questions you have, definitely let us know. Barry, Clifford, David, Aaron, Zach, Jackie, Jamel, Janko, Jorge, Paulo, Robert, Sarah, Shannon, Tanya, Tim. Guys, any questions? We're here to help you. Leonardo is asking about some marketing stuff. What would be my recommendations as segmentations for campaigns? Leonardo, I would recommend in terms of segmentation, maybe you could clarify what you're asking, but keep things simple. So I wouldn't recommend when you're starting your ads, when you're starting your campaigns, you can always get into so many details, but keep things simple to start. Let me know in the chat, Leonardo, what exactly you mean by segmentation. I can maybe give you a clear answer on that. But in general, stay away from segmenting too much at the beginning. A lot of times with marketing stuff, less is more. He said segmenting the interests. Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend segmenting any interest. Just start with targeting everybody. When you're doing your marketing for getting new customers, just target everybody in the area. If you're in a big city, target 2 to 3 miles. If you're in a small city, target 10 to 15 miles. Then do that to start. And then the one interest thing that you can target is just people who have interest in your food. So if you have burgers, type in burgers. If you have pizza, type in pizza. Don't start with that, but you could test that to see if that gets you better results. A lot of times it's pretty similar. So don't worry too much about the targeting. Just target everybody. Yep. Tim is asking, can we have the recording? Yes, we'll send you the recording after the call. Sarah's asking, how do we set up the targeting area? Sarah, in Facebook and Facebook Ads Manager and Business Manager, you can set up your targeting area. So you can just go and select a radius around your location. Yep. You're very welcome. A couple common questions that people get when talking about the marketing stuff. If you guys wanted to have a call with us, you own all the contacts. We just manage it for you. So you own all the contacts, all month-to-month agreement. There's nothing long-term you have to commit to. So it's a no obligation call as well. So it's pretty easy. Awesome, Leonardo. Thank you. Appreciate that. Sarah is asking, any idea to do the party tray better? Sarah, are you, just to clarify, are you asking about catering? Are you trying to promote your catering? Let me know what you mean by that. Sarah's asking how to promote the party tray and catering. Same stuff we talked about today. You know, if you can run ads for some special offer, get people's information, then you can shoot them emails about your party tray catering. You can shoot them text messages about your party tray catering. That'd be a great way to do it. Hayward Golf Club, Zach is asking about when you're running a special, claiming a special offer. Does Facebook Messenger generate the conversations, or do you have to set that up on your own? Good question. So ManyChat is the software you can use to set up like the automated conversations to like collect emails, collect phone numbers, and deliver offers. If you want to have a call with us, we could see if there's a fit. We could, like, in our Done For You program, we do all of this for you. But if you got some tech expertise and you can do it yourself, there are a bunch of free trainings as well online on YouTube. We also do have, I should note, guys, we also do have a premium webinar option for our company here. We do webinars, premium webinars, and they're $59 a month. We do premium webinars where we go even into more in-depth detail around all these techniques. Like today, Billy and I showed you a lot of these things. We got you like 80 to 90% there. We do, at our company, we do premium webinars once a week where we cover so many different topics around getting customers and keeping customers. And they're live, they're hosted by me. We showed like exactly A to Z, like what buttons to push, how to set up ManyChat, how to message people, like really, really in depth. So it's $59 a month only. If you want to check that out, Zach, if you want us to teach this to you, you could do that, or schedule a call, and we could do that for you too there. So either way, definitely a couple options there for you. Jorge has got a question for you, Billy. What do you think about hire slowly, fire quickly?
Yeah, so let's start with fire quickly. I agree with the fire quickly in a sense that you don't realize how much a bad team member drags down a good team, right? So you're only as strong as your weakest link. I've seen it too many times, and I've kept people around for longer than I should have, only to realize how much they were really dragging me down. So starting with fire quickly, I do believe in making great firing decisions to respect the team that you've got around you and make sure that you're letting them know you're there for them as the employer to give them the best team possible. And, it can't all be A+ players, but you should be averaging A/B players all around the board. If you've got some C's and D's in your system, I would say, let's start thinking about what we need to do to get them out. Because even being short-staffed with a bad team member sometimes creates a better team, a stronger team in the moment, less people doing more things. You definitely see an improvement there. In terms of hire slowly, you really want to hire meticulously, I would say, versus slowly. So if you create the systems like I talked about that helps you attract quality people, engage consistently, and evaluate them before you're even talking to them, half of your job is done. And then making sure in that interview process, you're really hitting home why the people who are in your system don't work and who does work in your system to help you evaluate the right person for that hire. So, I mean, for me, hiring slowly, that's kind of the antithesis of what I even do. We build software to expedite and decrease time spent in hiring, get you that hire quicker. But I will say, if you build systems up front to help you kind of get through half of that battle, you don't have to worry about that desperation hiring, slow paced, where you're like, okay, I need someone today. I'm going to start marketing it. And now I'm waiting to see if the right person shows up. Right. So desperation marketing and hiring is putting it out there and settling for any breathing body that walks to the door and putting them in your system. That's poor hiring. And yes, you should take that slow. But if you're doing the things that I've talked about today, you can expedite your hiring substantially and still make quality hires.
I love that. Yeah, I've done some of that same. I've battled with that same type of mentality as well. Like, I think firing quickly definitely is the way to go, and making sure that when you do let people go, that you're treating them well on the way out, because your other team members maybe are friends with that person. So that's a really important thing to do.
Yeah, firing with grace is important. I've just let go of somebody recently who everybody loves, but they just weren't fulfilling the role that I expected. And everyone understands that. But yeah, I mean, you always want to cover your bases and make sure you kind of have an exit strategy. Always amicable if it's possible.
Totally. Got a question come in here around tracking ROI on the marketing side. And the question is, do you have any minimum or suggested ROI that you've measured for every dollar spent? Great question. So there's two ways to measure ROI. You have your short term, like your immediate ROI, and then you have your long term. You can measure it with annual spend, you can measure it with lifetime spend. With any marketing, with any acquisition that you're doing for getting customers, if you can generate enough business instantly, like right away in the short term, to cover your costs, then you're winning, right? The goal with this is not to make a huge profit right away. Sometimes it does happen, but the goal is to at least generate enough business to cover your costs, or at least break even, because then you're getting customers for free. And then the real profits you make are going to be in the repeat visits, right? So if you've got a customer, for example, that visits one time, spends $45, that's great. But really what we want is to get that person to spend $1,000 over the course of a year. And so if you can at least get like a one-to-one return at the beginning, in the short term, the first month, second month, that's a huge win. And then if you look at how many times these people are visiting, you could get upwards of, you can get higher returns. We just had a restaurant, there's about 40 locations. They're getting about a 2-to-1 return on their ads right away, immediately, like revenue to ad spend. And then if we looked at, like, we did some data analysis around how often their regulars are visiting, and the annual spend of those people. And they're making $17 for every $1 they spend over the course of that year, right? So every business gets different results, depends on a lot of factors, but that's the way you want to measure it. You want to measure short-term and long-term. That's a good question. Guys, we got about 3 minutes left here on the webinar. So if you have any questions, let them fly. Definitely appreciate all of you for being with us today. I know time is the most valuable asset on earth. So thank you for spending about 57 minutes with us. Billy, thank you as well for joining. You've been awesome and provided a bunch of value.
Thanks for having me, guys. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Guys, if you have any questions at all, reach out to us directly. You can email us, you can text us, you can schedule a call. You can also email Billy directly, and you can also go to his website as well if you want to talk with him and his team. So anyway, that's it for us. Billy, thanks for joining us. Guys, thanks for joining us on the call today. We're going to be signing off, and I wish you all the very best of luck in your restaurants, and I hope you have a nice day. All right. Cheers, guys.
Yes.
Bye.